Alright, today I'm going to do a comparison between the super cheap auto Minimoog 180 amp, which is a transformer powered 180 amp welder that can take up to a 5 kilo roll, and my personal favourite, which you'll get a lot of reasons for shortly, the MIG 150 150 amp inverter, arc and MIG welder, which takes 15 kilo roll straight on the back there, and there's a Gyro Connector to a nice gun, which is upgradable, length upgradable as well. But we'll go and start with the Minimoog 180. Right, these are about $3.99 to buy new. This is probably 3 years old now. Served me reasonably well for what it is. Fixed a few things on it. Now, first thing I want to note about it is its current stepping is you just got A to F in stages, so you never really know exactly what you're up to. Variable wire feed's a lot better than a lot of the cheaper MIGs you'll find out and about for sale. Being able to vary the current like that's probably not a bad thing in this situation for these MIGs. It's got over temperature control, which I've hit many times in summer using it. It's got a pretty poor duty cycle up high in the current range. The plate there actually says it's only got a 15% duty cycle at 140 amps. So that in mind, that's not very high at all. To achieve 100% duty cycle, you've got to be down at about 54 amps there. So no one can weld 100% duty cycle. It's not really a big deal. If you can get up high, well, if you can get over half your rated current at a 60 to 70% duty cycle, that'll suit you for most fabrication trying to work. Righto, wire feeder. This is the third wire feeder. They're the same in a bunch of cheap crap welders, 24 volt. Little wire feeder. This plastic part here will break. The wire feeder itself will burn out. The cheap little cogs in here behind this that run the gearbox in the wire feeder strip. And I've got two crap welders at home, just really cheap, nasty ones that got the same wire feeder sitting at home as spares. For a while I was running it with argon, and that rubbed through. It was rubbing in here. Gets hot too because of the cable running up to the handpiece. It's rather small, probably undersized. That's it there. That's it there. Now, if your earth cable's that big, why would you make your power cable that big? The current's going to go one way or another. Yeah, just cheap, nasty design. There's a current overload, temperature overload there. There was an adapter for different size rolls on that. I can't remember whether it broke pulling it off one day or what, but that's how it's currently held there. So basically what I'm saying is they fall apart with use. That's gasless wire. I only really use this for gasless stuff now. Zapping together exhausts, things like that, so it's not overly used for anything structural anymore. Right, let's talk about cooling. It's got a cooling fan in the back, which sucks in one side and blows out the other. This side still seems to get very hot where the wires come out. Like I mentioned with the handpiece, you can actually feel the wire up to the handpiece get quite warm, and yeah, the cable's of cheap quality basically. Earth clamp, this is the original, cheap, nasty, spring melted in it, it's no good, cheap. Handpiece, this handpiece has been apart more times than I want to count or mention. The switch in there's a simple piece of tin plate that just gets squeezed when you pull the trigger. It also unsqueezes, it's got a little lever that unsqueezes a piece of like car vacuum hose for the argon flow to happen. Yeah, I don't rate it at all. Takes a common type of tip. I'm running 0.9 wire. You can use a common tip, which is definitely a positive because you don't have to buy small crap consumables like some of the cheap MIGs out there. You can use normal ones. This is also the second liner it's been through. It's probably only welded 15, maybe 20 kilos of wire in total. Yeah, probably about 20 kilos of wire in total. It's on its second liner. Now, you notice this cable tie holding it up straight as it comes out of the wire feeder. That's because without this piece here will bend straight down there, and it'll always cause jams. It'll jam up constantly. That said, simple thing like that. My mate's one, I did some heavy duty thick wall like heater hose, automotive heater hose, because he's got a bigger grommet there and a small cable. Bit of heater hose through there hanging out about yay far. That's more than enough to hold it up and stop it being any issue. All these things you could change and upgrade, but in this instance, if you drop something on either one of the cords or want to pack it up to take it away somewhere, you're stuck wrapping up these big cords, trying to wrap them around it. The other thing is, this is a transformer MIG welder. It has a great big solid copper or aluminium transformer inside it. It weighs 27, 28 kilos with no wire reel in it. So it's extremely heavy. It's to the point where it's hard to pick up. Picking it up off here and carrying it to the vehicle and taking it somewhere is not quite as easy as it sounds. Now, one plus for a home user, domestic user that doesn't have a workshop or whatever and just wants something small to tack stuff together, it has, as you can see, a 10 amp plug. It's not going to mean much to people in America or anywhere else in the world, but over in Australia we have 10 amp 240 volt plugs and we have 15 amp 240 volt plugs for welders and equipment like that. Having a 10 amp plug means it'll plug into a domestic outlet, basically. So yeah. So pros, it's a little bit cheaper. Cons, it's built quite a bit cheaper, essentially. If you only want something for hobby use, weekend use to zap the other thing together, yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, I still use it for exhaust and things like that because you can turn it down so low. Panel steel, doing repairs in panels and things like that. You can see just zapping little holes in things up. There's nothing wrong with it for that kind of work. Right, let's talk about this fella. The Magmate 150. Alright, let's start with the pros. We've seen the super cheap auto brand MIG 180. This is an inverter welder, including the 15 kilo spool of wire that's in it now. It still probably only weighs just the same as what the MIG 180 super cheap weighs without any wire in it. So it's lighter, much lighter. Not only lighter, it's smarter and runs cooler and uses less energy to do the same job. You notice on the front, beautiful big connectors. Just like any of your high-end brand arcs, TIG welders, things like that. And you get this beautiful big connector on the end, a nice earth clamp with a copper conductor in the end of it that actually touches your work. It's about 3 meters long. And then you've got this one here, which is a polarity switch, basically. This goes to your handpiece. Positive to your handpiece when you're using gas. Negative to your handpiece when you're using gasless wire. Or you pull him out and you can actually stick an electrode holder in this one, which is supplied with it, and flick one switch and you've got an arc welder with a simple current adjustment. Done. You're welding as an arc welder. Next awesome thing, it's a Gyro Connector, they call it, for the MIG torch. Like so, which carries your gas, carries your power and your switching wires, and it carries your cable. That allows you to upgrade and change the torch. The one it comes with is nice anyway, but it means you could get one that's 5 meters long, so you could leave the machine in situ like it is on my bench over here. The torch, much nicer. It's got a swivel ball thing in the bottom of it to protect it. It's got a nice big sheath on the outside. Nice switch. That's another thing. The gas on this one's solenoid controlled. Big plus in my opinion. The wire speed itself is controlled automatically by the current that you're using. See how it's going up to 65 volts? It's trying to establish an arc. So it's trying to burn through paint, it's trying to burn through rust and crap to get an arc happening for me. It came with a supplied gas regulator and a hose to suit it. This is a big deal. It's the wire feeder. It's a massive motor. Bearings. Nice straight path that it travels. Good adjustment. GoPro light flashing in the reflection of the shininess in there. Excellent wire feeder. Just great. Just good quality. All works well. And same with the spool holder for the back. I can put a 5 kilo or I can put a 15 kilo in this. So if I wanted to, I can chuck the gasless wire in this. Obviously there's a 15 in there at the moment. Good strong carry handle. I can pick this up, walk over to my bus with it and throw it in my bus. As you can hear the fans, see how long the lights take to go out. Still going. Some big capacitors in this thing. You'll see them just fade out in a minute. Just like that. So